Hey guys, welcome back to Burnout's Hot Rod Shop. It's Father's Day weekend. This one's going to be a fun episode. We're going to do it kind of three segments that we put together. The first is what I did Friday after I got off work. I went and checked out a yard sale. The second will be Saturday, and I think it was 2 flea markets I hit up on Saturday. And then Sunday, the 2 flea markets I hit up. So you get to see kind of day by day what I picked up. Hope you enjoy this one. It was a lot of fun for me. So let's check it out. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be holding the phone just because it's such a large item. This is one of those 4-shelf turntables, industrial turntables or hardware store type turntables. It came with the hardware, and she wanted $10 for this. There's a lot of stuff on here that I'm going to have to go through. A lot of stainless, it looks like. We got stuff like this. Lots of good hardware. But everything turns. Cool old packaging. Some lug nuts. A battery cable. It's just all kinds of miscellaneous. These square nails. These make awesome wedges and hammer handles. Got Briggs & Stratton spark plug. Briggs & Stratton filter, is it points? It looks like a condenser. Way more hinges than I'll ever need. You got a perfect match toilet bowl seal. Again, this was $10 of the 30 I spent. That's kind of where she started out. If you know anything about these things, they go for a few $100s on eBay. Each one of these shelves comes off. There's roller bearings. This will probably go out to the flea market and be a display that I use out there eventually. So we'll move on to the next item, show you what else I got. All right, so let's get into the rest of the stuff I bought in this lot. First up, we're gonna look at this wood box. Found this in the bottom of one of the toolboxes, kind of it had the big drawer on the bottom, or door on the bottom that folds up. This was in that bottom area, along with a couple of just random boxes that didn't have anything in it. So I pulled it out and said, wonder what's in here. Thinking, it could be micrometers, could be who knows what. But when I got in here, it's a nice little 40-piece tap and die set. No maker's name on it. You can see it does say tungsten, Japan. That one just says tongues. The other pieces say tungsten. And then we get the size. Everything looks to be in pretty good shape. Everything needs a good cleaning. And she told me her husband had passed away 25 years earlier, and all this stuff had just been sitting in the shed. So I think a good cleaning and oiling of the wood and of the steel. And this guy will be in really nice shape. It is a 40-piece. No branding, like I say, just Japan. But these on eBay sell from anywhere from $60 for some of the cheaper ones to the more nice ones with the wood cases and stuff like this. I've seen them over $100. And this one was another piece that she wanted $10 for. So it came home with me. I need a good tap and die set that's just not a bunch of tap and dies shoved in a drawer in a Kennedy box, which is what I've currently got. And she had this. So this is the special purchase Robo Grip Craftsman Professional. Get the 3 plier sizes. This one is the one I usually seem to find. Which is the 3 pliers, but this is the nicest one that I've found. I've not found the ones with the little rubber tips. There's like a compartment here or something that's got the little rubber tips. I've not found that one. The one that I currently have in my NOS type box, the cover is ripped. The pliers are in great shape, but the case itself is ripped. She wanted $10 for that as well. And then I said, what about all this stuff? And she said 50 cents a wrench. So this, still in the package. Don't know that it's ever been out. She said $1 for this, 50 cents for this, and then 50 cents for each of these. So 1, 2, 3, 50, 4, 5. So yeah, she wanted $35 for everything that I got, but she took 30. So this is the pocket sockets. And these things, like I said, I don't know if they've ever been out. Maybe I'm the first person to take them out. But they're in great shape. And this, if I remember right, is the first generation where they didn't print Craftsman down the front. But it is stamped in the steel. And you can see it still has tool oil on it. So that'll go in my NOS box. My dogs are out, in case you can hear them in the background. The wife must have just got home. These are actually flipped over. This does have some red marker markings or something on it. But it didn't look like these had been opened either. So it's the SAE hex set, or standard as Craftsman called it back in the day. And as we get into the wrenches, we've got the double line V or flying V, Craftsman 7/8. Needs cleaned up, but it's all surface rust stuff. This one is another double line or flying V, 1 5/16 by 1 1/8 double box. I think that'll clean up nicely. This is the 1 15/16 double box, and it's the flying V, double line V, whatever you call it, as well. This one is another double box, and it's a 3/4 by 7/8 flying V. And then we've got a 3/4 combination in really nice shape, flying V as well. We did get this Proto Challenger, 5/8 by 9/16 double open. And there were a ton more wrenches, but they were really rusty and crusty. You could definitely tell they'd been sitting in a humid shed for 25 years. And then we have this Craftsman, 8-inch. And that's the AZ, it looks like. And this one is made by Plum. And the way you know that, or Proto, one of the two. That family, but it's the click stop. So if it's out, you can turn it. A little sticky. But if you do that, push it in, it doesn't turn anymore. So I've only got one other of these click stops, and I think it's a 10. It could be an 8. I don't remember for sure, but yeah, anytime I see the click stops, I definitely pick them up. So, not a bad little haul, I don't think. Let's get the camera turned around, close this out. So now that we've been through the Father's Day weekend Friday tool pickup from that yard sale, we will look at the Father's Day weekend Saturday pickup. I went to, where did I go to? Jake's Flea Market, and I think it's Bartow, Pennsylvania. It's by Boyertown. And then on the way back, I stopped at the Quakertown Farmers Market and got some stuff as well. So some of this, I'll try to give you a little bit about price and kind of how I got it or whatever, what I can remember. We'll start up here. So this one has a patent on it. And on this side, it's a Wright 3428. It's got the black rubber handle, flex head. And this came from an older gentleman. I think he was selling a lot of his own personal tools and other stuff. A lot of household type items, that kind of thing. Him and his wife were there. And he basically had a $2 bin, a $1 bin, and a 3 for $1 bin. So this came out of the $2 bin. Being a Wright flex head, I couldn't pass that up. These two guys came from the same gentleman. This is a 9/16 Mac Sabina, Ohio combination wrench. And a 7/16 Mac. Again, it's the USA. It's not Mark Sabina, but it's another one from Ohio. Those were in his 3 for $1 bin. So for 33 cents, I never let Mac sit there. I guess we'll jump over here. Next up is this Challenger 15 millimeter. If I don't drop it. And I picked that up out of a $1 bin. Can't remember. It was a different guy. But I got it out of a $1 bin. Here we've got a screwdriver. Looks like it is a 9623 USA. And it's a Proto. This was also in the 3 for $1 bin from that gentleman. And then this was in another $1 bin with this wrench here. We'll get to that one in a minute. It's a 13/16 by 7/8 plumb. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. I don't love plum, so don't on a table for $1 either. Next up, not sure why I set this over there, but I did. We've got this Wizard 1/2 and 9/16 double box. That was in a 3 for $1 bin. I got this Craftsman 5/16 combination wrench. This is that style that is from the Flying V era, but it was only a single line because it's a smaller size. But if we look in there, that thing looks new. Same gentleman, 3 for $1. This one's an 11/32, and it is the Flying V. And again, looks clean as a whistle. Same gentleman. 3 for $1. Got this from the same gentleman as well. It's a 1/4 by 5/16. Single line V. This was in his $1 bin. But I'm going to have to look. I may not have one that small. So I grabbed it. If not, you don't usually see the small ones in the double boxes. This came out of his dollar bin. You can see it's an underline C Craftsman, and it's a circle H, 1/2-inch drive, 8-inch extension probably. These ignition pliers came from his 3 for $1 bin as well, and they're Dunlops. This came out of his dollar bin. It's a 17mm Flying V. Anytime I see these double line or Flying Vs in metric, I pick them up. They did not make a lot of them. And then this guy, it's the Flying V, Craftsman. It's got the indent, so it's the, 1954 or whatever it was. Switch is just as loose as all of them. A little dry. It turns really well. Quick rebuild, that thing will look as good as new. That was in his $2 bin. So that was with the right. This, I picked up the same bin as the plum from a different guy, and it was on his dollar table. It's a 5/8 by 3/4. It's a V4, N4, sorry. Craftsman and the CI. So another one, if I see these for $1, I don't let them sit. He had 3 that he had cleaned up, and he had them on his $5 table. So I let those sit for $5, but I took the one that hadn't been cleaned for $1. And then these 2 I picked up in Quakertown. I also picked up from this guy an 18mm single line V combination and a 17mm single line V combination, because I couldn't remember at my booth which one I was missing on my having a full set on the back wall. I had sold the 2 that I had, and it was the 18mm. So I got those for $1 each, and then he charged me $1 for these 2. So this one is a 1-inch Craftsman BE in nice shape. And this one is the 7/16, and it's the 7-16 Craftsman BE. Again, in really nice shape. I dug through the rest of his bin, and the only other ones I was seeing with the knurling were the Huskies. So the similar Huskies made by New Britain, but they were Huskies. These were the only 2 that I saw that were Craftsman. And it was a large bin. I was there for a while. And then the other thing I got, and actually it was from the same guy I got this from out of a $1 bin, and they were $1 each as well, was 3 6-point metric, smaller metric Craftsman wrenches. If I remember right, it was 7, 8, and 9mm, but it could have been 7, 9, and 11. But they're back at the booth now. I didn't even bring them here when I stopped at the flea market. I dropped them off and put them in my 6-point bins, where I have quite a selection of both metric and SAE 6-point wrenches. So that was our Saturday pickup. Let's see what we get tomorrow for our Sunday pickup. So now we're on to our last grouping of the Father's Day weekend. Today's Sunday, Father's Day, and we went to Circle Drive-In. It's a still functioning drive-in theater, but on Sunday mornings they do a flea market. And then on the way back, we stopped at the Blakesley Flea Market, which is right by the Pocono Raceway, where they run the NASCAR race. So these are the things I picked up there. I will start off with these 2 pliers. Or I guess these are cutters. These I cleaned up. No branding on them. someone's initials, but that's all I can see on there. With the green handle, I was hoping maybe diamond or something. I get the nice tight bend like some of the diamonds do. They work really well. The blades look pretty good. And it was in a dollar bin, so I can't complain. Same dollar bin. I pulled these Crowder. It's at 1801-6. These are locked up tight, but they get just a hair of motion. So my guess is that a little time in a deox bath will get them cleaned up. Doesn't look like there's any embellishments on the handles. Still, nice set of pliers. Let's see, same dollar bin. I picked these two guys. So it's a double box end, 15/16 by 1 SK. There's the part number on it, 33030. It's a nice looking double box. That was in a dollar bin, along with this guy, which is the 5/8 by 11/16, probably from the same set. So the dollar bin fine there. And let's see. Pulled from that same dollar bin, or no, from the same guy. This 90-10 Utica with a 3 diamond. He had those sitting on a shelf for $2. They're in pretty nice shape. They turn nice and smooth. And I pick up Uticas now and again, but anytime I see the triple diamond, those are the ones I like to pick up the most. Let's move on to, this actually came out of that same dollar bin. 6-inch Craftsman, forged in USA. Just has that one little rust spot there, but turns nice and freely. This came out of that dollar bin. It's a CI, forged in USA. Craftsman with the underlying C. Double open. It's a 3/4 by 13/16. Anytime I see these underlying C's or Craftsman vanadiums in a dollar bin, I'm bringing it home. This came out of that same dollar bin. Got a lot from that $1 bin. This is a Sears Craftsman ratcheting wrench with the plastic, but all the plastic seems to be intact. And this one, if you notice, that's gray, which means it's metric. So we've got a 19 by 17, and both sides turn nice and smooth. So you don't see the metrics that often. And this also came out of that dollar bin. It's a Craftsman 3/4 by 7/8. The interesting thing on this one, when you flip it over, it's a double line double V. So you don't see the double line double V very often. That was a secondary plant that they used that only made wrenches for Craftsman whenever they had a high demand and they needed overflow. I'm not exactly sure where the plant was, but they called it their southern plant. So I don't know if it was in the southern U.S. or just the south side of town. It's in really nice shape. I may have one other double line double V, but you don't see those very often at all. That was all from, like I say, one vendor at the Blakesley Flea Market. From another vendor, I got these. And it's nearly a full set of Husky USA alloy steel. This one's a 3/4. So we've got 3/4, 5/8, 9/16, half, so there's no 11/16, 7/8, 3/8, and no quarter, so that means there's no 5/16. So I'm missing those two, the 11/16 and 5/16, and that would be a full set. And I may have them over, I've been separating all my Husky stuff. I may have them over with my other Husky stuff. Now at circle drive in, I pulled this guy, 3/8 drive, the fine tooth, round head, turns really nicely. Actually, I didn't try it the other way. Yeah, nice and smooth. And it's a V with the patent number. And that was in a $1 bin. So yeah, anytime I find, especially the fine tooth in a $1 bin, it's coming home with me, even if it's a parts one. This I picked up. This one's kind of an interesting story. I don't have a chain wrench. I just haven't really come across one that's in good enough shape to pick up. This one's a little bit of rust up here, but nothing bad. It is forged in USA with patent number, double line V. You see, pretty good shape. The guy who had this booth, he set up his booth and promptly walked away and was just walking the aisles, apparently. I stood there for about 10 minutes. I asked the guy at the booth next door, I was like, are you watching this for him or what's going on? And he said, no, he goes, actually, I don't know who he is. He set up his booth, he walked away. He pops in periodically, but he's away more than he's here. So yeah, I said, okay, well, if I give you like $1 or something, will you give it to him? He goes, man, as far as I'm concerned, you can just take what you want because it's not my day to babysit him. So I took a $1 bill and put it through the guy's truck window. I wasn't going to take it, and I was going to offer him $1 for it. It looked like most of the stuff on his table was $1 type stuff. I mean, I'd have paid $2 or $3 for it if he would have said it, but he wasn't there. So I gave him $1 through his truck window and I told that guy to let him know that I took chain wrench and left him $1. I picked up this Max Sabina. It's a 3/4 by 7/8. Interesting, the 3/4 is upside down. I don't know if they're all that way or not. I guess I haven't paid much attention. Looks like it's a DR2428. And this was in the same $1 bin as the Craftsman ratchet. So I got those for $2 together. So we've been through these, been through this. This guy, I paid too much for it. I'll admit it. But it is a super wrench, and it's a 1 5/8. It's in pretty decent shape. Looks like it probably still has maybe a label residue on it or something. So it looks like it has not been used. Looks like it's just been sitting around. So the guy wanted $40 for that. There was no way I was going to pay $40 for it. I went back and looked at it a couple times. It was getting to be a little bit later, getting closer to noon. And I kept offering him 10, 10, 10. And I came up to 15. He came down to 20. I kept trying for 15. I tried for 18. He wouldn't budge. He goes, I'll tell you what, do 20, and I'll give you something else Williams. So I looked, and he had this socket. I think I already have an 1 1/4 inch, but this thing looks like it's brand new. So for the wrench and the socket, I gave him $20. Like I said, I overpaid for it, but I think I've got, I can't remember, I think 3/8 up to an 1 1/4 inch. So 1 5/8 is kind of like the next size. So it's Father's Day, I kind of treated myself. So I got those. And then back to Blakesley. That's where we went to, the second place we went to. I got these from a guy I always deal with. I got this whole pile from a guy I always deal with. And I was waiting on my wife and walked past a booth that never has tools. It's always more geared towards women's stuff. And I look, and she had a basket of screwdrivers on the floor. So I started looking through, and I find this guy in there. And it's a Mac P995A USA N4 clutch drive. It's okay. Well, it doesn't look bad. You know, just probably $1 on a screwdriver, so I buy that for $1. So I hold on to it. I turn around, and this is sitting on a shelf with a bunch of jewelry and that kind of stuff. I can see this label, what's left of it, and I know that label. So I grab it, and I pop it open. Maybe. Try not to make it fly all over. And now you might be able to read that better. It's Williams Midget, and it's an electric set. So I look at it, the sockets were just kind of scattered around, but it looked like it was the right amount, and there are 9 sockets in here. And there are all these LD, that's an LD32 Williams half-inch hex drive. And it goes all the way down to this LI2 or L12, whatever that is. Williams 3/16 hex drive. Actually, no, it goes one more size smaller. Thought I grabbed the one on the end. So I get for looking through the camera. Yeah, so it's an L10. So I guess the other was an L12. And that's a 5/30 seconds. So a neat little set. I look at it because I've been burned before and picked stuff up thinking it was one thing, and come to find out most of the stuff on the inside was another brand. So you can see that is a Williams. Now we got this extension type guy. And we can see he's a Williams. So this goes onto there. I pull this one out because it's a square drive, so I'm like, okay, what's going on with this? And as I get it up here, it's a WF9 plum. It's a little sticky, but not bad. So I get a plum in here with this set. Now, the one thing that I think is missing in this set, by looking online, is the electricals. I think the sockets actually go in the center. The extension and the breaker bar go up here. And then down here, you get a set of ignition wrenches. And they're super wrench ignition wrenches. I do have some super wrench ignition wrenches in the house. I'll have to pull in and see how close to a full set I have. But she had this. I asked her what she wanted, and she said the other guy with all the tools there told her that not to take less than 15, but to give you a nut driver with it. So I said, okay. I said, how about, I don't need a nut driver. But I said, how about we do 15? It's loud. And in lieu of a nut driver, you give me this guy. She said, done. So I got this for $15 with the Mac clutch driver. So not a bad haul on Father's Day. Had a good time hanging out with the kids. A lot of interesting stuff. You know, this double line, double V. Don't see those very often at all. Picking this guy up for $1, definitely cool. But this Williams set, That's my favorite for the day. So, all in all, it's been a good Father's Day, and we're only about the halfway point. What do you guys think? I think I've got some pretty awesome stuff. Definitely had a good time. We are only, I think it's 1:30 in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Father's Day. So I'm going to wrap this thing up, get out of here, and go enjoy some time riding my motorcycle to hang out with my kids at one of our local state parks. I will say my favorite piece, I think, out of the entire weekend was probably that Williams hex drive set. That just, it's something I didn't even know I was looking for until I found it. And when I look at my core brands are Williams, Proto, SK, and of course Craftsman. Like Snap-on kind of falls in there too, I think, because I've got a lot of Snap-on stuff anymore. And I kind of got my secondaries, the Duro Industros, those kinds of things. But anytime I find Williams or Proto especially, I'm excited. And I got a lot of good Williams stuff in this weekend. So anyway, let me know what your guys' favorite thing is. And yeah, just know I'm burnout. I love you. And there ain't nothing you can do about it.